Hi, it's Wendy from Shiny Happy World and Fresh Stitches. Happy New Year, everybody! Happy January! I love the new year. I love New Year's resolutions and making goals and deciding to learn new things. I got married on New Year's Day. I started my business on New Year's Day. I merged with Fresh Stitches and Shiny Happy World together on New Year's Day. I love the new year. So Happy New Year, everybody! Here's what is coming up in January here at Shiny Happy World. Of course, the first thing we have is a new Ami Club pattern. And I'm going to show him to you. He's super cute, very chubby and adorable. His name is Peter, and he's a panda. Peter Panda. He is standing legs, so that's really easy to do. No extra sewing required. The arms are sewn in. His tail is sewn in, is crocheted in. Arms are crocheted in. The only thing you need to do a little hand sewing for is to attach his ears and his little eye patches. So that is Peter Panda. He's a really easy pattern for beginners. So if you're just learning how to make amigurumi and that's what you're jumping in to learn in 2019, he is a great one to start with. So Peter Panda. Hello. Some of you may know this already, but I worked in children's publishing for about 20 years before I started Shiny Happy World. And last month when we had our mouse pattern, I mentioned that I was inspired by The Night Before Christmas and the line, "Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse." And a couple of people did gifts where they gave the mouse and a copy of Night Before Christmas. And I thought that was a really great idea. So going forward, I'm going to, whenever I can, recommend a children's book to go with the month's stuffed animals. So this month is a panda. He's very cute peeking into the screen like that. So we've got a panda, the Peter Panda this month. And this book has my favorite picture book panda. That is Zen Shorts by John Muth. His name is Stillwater. The panda is named Stillwater. And I just love him. I love that big chunky body. I love those enormous swimming trunks that he's wearing. It reminds me of the what is that song from Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas where they're talking about grandma's bathing suit and how enormous it is. So anyway, if you're looking for a book to give with your panda stuffed animal, Zen Shorts is the one I recommend. He is my favorite picture book panda philosopher. And again, just because he's so cute. There's Peter. I loved the name Peter Panda too. I just thought that was funny. So that is the new Ami Club pattern. Other new things, we decided to go ahead with the new Quilt Block of the Month Club. So those are going to be releasing probably on the 15th of every month. I haven't finalized that yet, but that's probably what it's going to be. When I've done two different clubs going at the same time, I did one on the 1st and the other on the 15th. That just kind of spaces out those new releases well. So it'll be a new quilt block pattern every month. You can mix and match them into other quilt patterns that you already have of mine, so that it's going to be based on that same 10-inch block that all of my patterns are based on. So you can easily mix and match. You can make all of the patterns from the Block of the Month Club into their own quilt if you want to use a coordinating fabric, like decide ahead of time that you want to use the Rainbow Sherbet background fabrics for the backgrounds of all of the blocks, and then you want to use like the gingham play for the main fabric for the animals, or whatever you want to do. You can decide on a coordinating fabric collection at the beginning, like as soon as you sign up for the club, and make all of them to go together that way. Or you can just have them be standalone patterns that you can use for tote bags and t-shirts and table runners and wall hangings and pillows and all of the things that people use single block patterns for. So I don't have any way for you to sign up yet. We don't have any of that set up yet, but we'll get to it very, very soon. If you're not already on the Shiny Happy World mailing list, now is a great time for you to sign up. If you go to shinyhappyworld.com, there's a sign up box for the newsletter somewhere on almost every page of the site. So it's really easy to get signed up, and that way you can make sure that you're up on new announcements. That's also where I tell people, hey, you know that fabric bundle you like so much that's been out of stock? We got it back in stock. So anything that went completely out of stock that I get back in, I tell people about in the newsletter, new patterns, new tutorials, all that kind of stuff. It's a weekly newsletter, And it's a great way to stay on top of things. So that's where I'll be letting people know that they can sign up for the new Block of the Month Club. And that will probably be, I don't know for sure that I'll have it by the end of this week, but definitely by early next week. So those are the two new things. So new Ami Club pattern and new Block of the Month Club. We are continuing a couple of old things this month. The Bears in the Hills pattern. So now that the holidays are past, we'll get back on that one new video a week schedule where I show you a new one of these fill patterns in the hills. Those are all stitched improvisationally. That's why there's a video for each one of those designs. A couple people have asked why this isn't just a printed pattern with a printed pattern for each of the hills as part of for the embroidery style in each of the hills as part of the pattern. And the reason is that I'm stitching all of them improv. So there's no marking, and that's what I'm showing you in the videos is how to do these designs without marking. So for example, on this grid, I showed how you kind of keep everything lined up without doing any marking first. And on these radiating lines, I showed how to keep those lines nice and smooth and symmetrical and even without having to do any marking first. So it's just a much more relaxing way to stitch, but it's not something that I can really just talk you through in words on paper. It's much, much easier to just show it to you and show you like, hey, I've got this nifty little trick on how to keep that line smooth without a line to follow. So that's why it is a video pattern instead of just a regular PDF pattern. But it's the same price. It's just the means of delivery just made a lot more sense for what I'm actually teaching in that class. So I don't know yet what the next video will be. I don't know yet what the next fill is that I do. It's probably going to be some kind of stripe because I don't have a lot of stripes going yet on that design in that whole, all of those hills. I'm going to do a different design in each hill. So in all of those hills, I don't have a lot of stripes yet, so probably the next couple of videos are more likely to be stripes. So look for that video probably by the end of this week. What else do we have coming up? Just want to check my notes and make sure I don't forget anything. Bears, talked about. Oh, I'm writing a book. So I've agreed to write an embroidery book. I can't share any of the details yet about it because everybody at the publisher has been on vacation and we're actually still hashing out a couple of things, but I'm waiting to hear back from them on what I'm allowed to share with you guys. But in the meantime, until then, I feel pretty comfortable sharing the very far off. You can see those are some spreads from the book, so I can't show them close up, but I can show them on the wall behind me. So there's going to be 50 of those spreads. Each of them has multiple embroidery designs on it. So they're on that back wall so I can see my progress that I'm making because 50 is a lot and I have really just a few months to do them in. So I'll be doing a lot of hand stitching over the next several weeks and you'll see those start to go up on the wall behind me. And as soon as I know what I'm allowed to share with you guys, I'll get those sharing. It's just different publishers all have different requirements and I need to wait to hear from them what is okay. So that's big news. That book, I think, will be out by the end of this year. But again, I need to find out the final details and everything. So speaking of New Year's and new beginnings and learning new stuff, I just wanted to remind you guys that we have a series of video workshops that give you a great kind of jump-in workshop to learn how to do a new craft. So we've got hundreds of tutorials at Shiny Happy World, and that can be a little overwhelming sometimes, just knowing where to start. So we've put together a couple of workshop classes that walk you through those tutorials in a really systematic way, and a way that lets you do it with any project that you're interested in. So for example, one of them is called Let's Make a Quilt, and it teaches you how I make quilts using Quilt As You Go and applique with fusible adhesive. And it starts at the very beginning with choosing your tools and supplies and what kind of fabric and what you need. And then it takes you through choosing a pattern. And I show you the different patterns that we have available at Shiny Happy World, free and for sale. So there's plenty of free single block patterns if you just want to try one block and see what you think of the technique and if you enjoy the process. But it tells you also, like, here's what makes a really easy pattern easy, and here's what makes this pattern just a little bit more complicated, and here's what makes this pattern just a little bit more complicated. So it helps you to choose a pattern based on your own strengths and weaknesses and where you want to start. And then it takes you through all of the lessons really systematically, and you can work through them using any pattern that you like. So it's a really great way to kind of corral all of the cajillion tutorials that we have and present them to you in a systematic way that allows you to practice on them with the pattern that you choose. So we've got Let's Make a Quilt, and we've got Let's Make Amigurumi, which is the same exact principle. And then we also have Embroidery 101 and Embroidery 102. So if any of those are things that you want to learn this year, I will put links to those classes in the notes that go along with this video. So whether you're looking at it on YouTube or at Shiny Happy World, look down at the notes down underneath the video, and you'll see all of the links that I talk about in here. So what else? Oh, we have a craft along coming this month. I love having a craft along every month. It's really, really fun to see what you guys are making. And this month's craft along is a snowman craft along. It is rainy and very spring-like outside right now, but at some point we will get more snow, and I am thinking about snowmen. So we are having a snowman craft along. And if you look here, I'm going to make space so I can drop a picture in right next to me next to my face on that side. So I'll put in a picture of some of the very traditional snowman patterns that we have. There's a quilt pattern, and there's an embroidery pattern, and there's a couple of felt patterns. And Stacy has a really, really terrific mix and match snowman pattern where you can choose different hat styles and different faces, and you can make a very traditional snowman as part of the craft along. But we also have another fun option, and that is to take any Shiny Happy World or Fresh Stitches pattern and make it into a snowman. So for example, if you want to do a quilt block using one of the cat patterns from the Cuddly Cats pattern, you can make that in white fabric, make a white cat from head to toe, maybe add a little hat or a scarf to him, and call him a snow cat. You can do the same thing with a sewing stuffed animal or with a crochet pattern. Just use white fabric or white yarn, give him a little hat, give him a little scarf, and call him a snow whatever. So for example, this is one of my very favorite patterns from last year. I think he was the October Ami Club pattern. But you could make this guy up in white yarn, give him a little scarf, maybe a hat. You could use the free Santa hat pattern that we released last month that is a crochet pattern, and just not make it in Santa colors if you want to just give him a fun striped hat or something like that. He could be wearing whatever kind of whatever color snow pants you want to put on your snowman, or he can just be all white, but make him up in white and he is a snow monster. So I'm looking forward to see what you guys do. I hope I get to see lots of snow cats and snow dogs and snow bears and snow bunnies and snow flamingos and snow slugs and lots of snow critters. So I'll put in a link in there also. We usually announce the craft alongs every month within the first few days of the month, and then people post pictures all month long in the Shiny Happy People group on Facebook, and at the end of the month we look at the pictures. You'll tag it #snowmancal, and we look at all of those at the end of the month and choose some winners, and the winner gets a free pattern. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to see all kinds of creative, fun spins on our different patterns, and I hope you guys will play along. So that is it for January for Shiny Happy World. I will see you next month. Bye.